friends and lovers and all of the others. Welcome to another episode of Pod from the Bunker. My name on Twitch is Kev from the Bunker. All of my socials should be popping up at the bottom of the screen or in the description of this video. You should be able to find me at Kev D Foster most places. Today we have another wonderful guest. More than a Twitch partner, a Twitch ambassador, which I'm really excited to learn about. If you're watching this on YouTube, I implore you to come over to Twitch. It's a wonderful platform. We do these live on Mondays, and my Twitch channel is Kev from the Bunker, as I mentioned earlier. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you want to comment any questions you might have for our guest today is Megan Lenius. I always struggle with her last name because I always thought it was something else. I don't even want to try to pronounce it now, but it is Lenius. And she is a phenomenal musician, phenomenal streamer, looper, songwriter, and we have a lot in common. She has the same looper as me, the same 3D printer. We both vibe on the Orangewood guitars. I mean, there's a heck of a lot about her that I really enjoy. And so I'm really stoked to learn a little bit more about her today. And yeah, if you look in the links below, or in the description here, you'll see all the links to the merch and to all my socials and everything. So just click on those. All of Meg's links will be through her sort of Linktree equivalent there. There's a tap link available. If you're in Twitch right now, that would be right in the chat. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring our good friend, Miss Megan Lenius, in right now. See, that's what I say, Lenius. It's Lenius. And we'll get to learn a little bit more about her. There she is. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you, friend?
I'm doing well. It's been quite a weird journey between you and I. We have touched base on different pieces of gear that we've had, 3D printers and loopers and stuff like that. And I've watched some of your streams. We've rated each other, but this is the first time I'm actually going to get to learn a little bit more about you, and I'm super excited. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like I found you through Headrush. Because I think we were both affiliated with Headrush in some way. Like they followed you or they reposted something, and I was like, oh, there's multiple people that use looper boards on Twitch.
Yeah, I think. Well, you were the first person that I found other than myself, and I had done a whole bunch of research in there, and I had never really done looping. I had no pedal board, so it was great that I had all the other stuff involved. I didn't really have to get anything; it just kind of came with everything.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't know that you started on the looper board.
Yeah, well, I mean, 10 years ago, I had an RC1 or whatever.
Okay, so you did a little bit, but it was still like your first time seriously looping was with the Headrush?
Yeah, and
that's so cool.
Yeah. So did you start with something before that?
Yeah, so I kind of went through a journey of a whole bunch of different loop stations. When I first started streaming on Twitch, the very first donation goal that I had, and the very first, it was also the first credit card that I ever opened, was a Guitar Center credit card.
Okay.
And I used it to buy an RC300, because it was really the only thing on the market that could do multiple different channels. And before that, I had kind of screwed around with a couple different loopers. I thought looping was really cool. I really liked Katie Tunstall. Black Horse and a Cherry Tree was one of my favorite songs to sing growing up. Mm-hmm. So when I learned that she was making all of that on her own, and I was like, wait, I can play music live without having to deal with organizing musicians?
Yeah.
That's incredible. And so I kind of played around. I had a Vox single channel loop station. It was horrible to use, but I did use that a couple times. Or a little bit. That's kind of what I started on. But then when I started streaming in 2017, I bought a loop station right away in the beginning, and it was an RC300. And so I learned how to loop throughout streaming.
Right.
And yeah, so then I went from an RC300 to I wanted pedal effects. I'm trying to think of where it went, because I had so many different ones. So I wanted pedal effects, the same thing when you were, I'm assuming, looking at pedal boards, like you said.
Yeah.
Where it
I I don't need all the chords and all the different, like it comes with distortion, bass, everything is in there. I don't have to deal with anything else, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And there wasn't any other loop stations on the market that had, like, especially at that time, the looper board wasn't out. So, like, if I was going from the RC300 and I was trying to figure out a way to build, like, decent guitar effects on top of it, especially decent guitar effects for an acoustic guitar, which is a whole other freaking hassle on its own.
Of course.
And so there wasn't anything out there. So I went from the RC300 to my guitar tech convinced me to get a Line 6 Helix.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had a Line 6 Helix, and then I got 3 Jamman solo pedals, which had like the MIDI sync option on it.
Okay.
So then I would MIDI sync them between it. So I could have I think I used 4 of them, so I could have a 4-channel loop station with the effects of the Line 6, but the issue was it didn't have any, like a proper loop station. When you record 4 bars, the next channel that you record is going to be 4 bars, and that's the thing that, like, keeps you in time.
Yeah.
And it's way harder to keep in time if
you're out of fraction. Yeah,
if they don't do that. And so these ones just synced the very first note, and so it was so hard to loop on that.
Yeah.
And it's probably why my time got really good, because I forced myself to stream with it and, like, learn how to use it, because I had invested in a Line 6 Helix. I was determined to make it work.
Yeah, that's a crazy device. For sure. I mean,
it's insane. I mean, it sounds amazing, but it was just giant.
Yeah, and like if you're out a fraction at the end of each bar, like it's fine for a little while, but once you get 2 minutes into the song, then you starts falling off a little bit more. Is that how did it work that way or no?
Yeah, if like I'm trying to remember, and I think it would sync the very first
hit,
like
strike.
The first hit. It would the record from each one. That's what it would MIDI sync. Okay. And so, if I didn't get the end of it to line up exactly correctly, it would. So if I wasn't built like a perfect computer looper, it wouldn't work.
That's tough. Wild.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I mean, I made it work for a while until I finally got to a point where I'd gone to TwitchCon and I brought the loop station, and I ended up like not even really using it because it was just such a hassle to carry everywhere and set up. And it was like, when you get the nerves of playing live, it doesn't matter how many times you've used I know my songs like the back of my hand, and I know like my loop station like the back of my hand, but when it's live, looping has like a whole other level of control that you lack from like feedback issues, and then your guitar being like, if your effects aren't properly done, and if you don't have a good enough sound guy, I've learned with looping live, it's really, really hard to make it sound good. It's like, it's so hard to do, and especially when I wasn't using a loop station that was built to be a loop station in the way that it needed to be.
Of course. No, that seems cool, but how innovative is that? Well done. Just to take us a little off track, can I ask you why you play music?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was like, such a broad question, because it was kind of like my normal answer is it was just kind of built into me. Like, I asked my parents if there was a moment when I started singing or anything like that, and they were like, nah, you were just always a singer. You just always wanted to perform and be in front of people. And the longer that I shared that with people, the more that I realized that I think when I was younger, there was a part of it where it was, I kept being, I don't know about undermined, but I was very self-aware when somebody was like, you're a kid, so I'm not going to listen to your opinion. Okay. And there was when I would perform, there wasn't any of that. It didn't matter what my age was. People respected me for the performer that I was. They respected me for the singer that I was. There was no, oh my God, you're so young, you don't know anything that you're doing. You're such a good musician. You're such a good singer. kind of like leveled the playing field. And then the older that I got, the more that I like, and the more that I shared like songs that I was writing, and the more people that were just like random strangers that found my videos, the more that I realized that music was my safe haven, and sharing that with people, like there were other people like me in the world that wanted that, or that like needed that safe haven as well. Like I remember the first time I released an original song and somebody said like I was going to, trigger warning, self-harm, by the way, but first time that I released an original song on YouTube, and somebody had commented and said that they were going to commit suicide, and they went on YouTube and they watched my video and they heard my song and it stopped them from doing that. And I was in high school and I was like, oh my God, this is the
meaning of life.
This is what like music can do to somebody. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And it kind of put this perspective on what music can do and how it has this. There's like music can encompass things that no other form of art can for people.
Can I call you Meg?
Yeah, for sure.
Meg, I don't discount the fact that it was your performance and your music that did that. So like it does, you know, that's as much as music is the great communicator. You were able to do that for somebody. So I think that is why we do it. I know that's why I do it. I mean, just to hit somebody in those feels how you've been hit before and make them, you know, feel, you know, welcome, included, whatever that may be.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I ask you, why play music? What is music?
I don't know. Fucking vibration.
Okay.
Like the rest of us.
Okay, yeah, true. Yeah. And it's meant to be shared, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
So when did you start? Did you perform? Like you've been performing since you were a kid. Did you perform out before you were a Twitch streamer often, or how did that go?
I was always singing. I was always like playing stuff. When I was 6 years old, I was in first grade. I think you're about 5 or 6 years old in first grade. I learned how to play guitar. I like begged my parents. My music teacher at my school, he was a new music teacher, and he was a classical guitarist. Like that was what was like his prerequisite, or one of them, to like becoming a music teacher. And so he brought in guitar lessons, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be a rock star. All rock stars play guitar. Yeah. And so I begged my parents like the day before the due date to sign me up for guitar lessons. And so I started those when I was 6. My guitar teacher hated me because I never practiced. And then I took them for about 5 years. And then I realized how cool it was to play guitar and perform, like, as a guitar player, be able to do that. And so then kind of after that, I was able to, like, self-teach. Yep. And then I just played. I did, like, throughout high school and middle school, I was playing coffee shops every weekend. Like, towards the end of high school, I had a cover band that was playing all the time. Like, it was playing pretty, like, consistently, and we were making some money from that. And then, on top of that, I was also working a full-time job at a, acting and music agency and kind of doing stuff with that. So the Twitch came in when I started to be like, okay, maybe I can gain success as a musician from doing this acting thing. So I signed with an agency in LA. And I moved out to California, and then I was really bored in California, and I discovered Twitch. Okay. And I started streaming.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So you when you were playing cafes and stuff, was it just kind of originals and open mics and like little small half-hour sets, or were you playing full-on nights at places like that?
It was kind of both. I kind of did whatever. I had an hour to a 3-hour set of covers and originals, and I definitely didn't have enough originals to fill an entire set with. I maybe could at that point do a half an hour set of originals that I really liked.
Of course.
But I had a full night's worth of music, and I kind of just did whatever I could. I would, if somebody wanted me to play for 2 hours, I'd play for 2 hours. If they wanted me for 3, when I was playing in a cover band, we had a full 4-hour set that we would usually play. And that was kind of one of the things that really helped with streaming in the beginning, was when I started way back in 2017, back before affiliates.
Yeah.
Back in my day, they had a lot of the musicians that were on Twitch weren't like gigging musicians. Like COVID really brought in the wave of musicians that had played in cover bands and were used to singing for 4 or 5 hours straight and being okay with it.
Yeah.
And so back then there wasn't a lot of musicians that were like had built up the stamina to do so. And so that was one of the things that was like very easy for me to do when I started streaming, was to like, I hyper focused on Twitch and I would stream for 7 hours and it would be okay, because I was like, oh, this is a band rehearsal. What are you talking about? Yeah,
right. Exactly.
And also, this is so much easier to sing over my loop station than it is for me to sing over 3 musicians who don't know what volume is.
Yeah, just trying to be a rock star, of course. Yeah. No, I totally understand. Same goes, even if you're just playing at a pub or a brewery, like just the chatter of the room, you kind of have to be over. You don't want to be interrupting it, but you kind of have to be over it a little bit. So that, but then they talk a little louder and you're trying to hear yourself, you're trying to find that balance, and it's like, then I'm singing louder than I should be, and by the end of the weekend, you hear me now, I had 4 gigs on the weekend and I'm like, but if I did 4 streams for whatever reason, they would have been longer, more music, and I would have seemed to have made it just fine there. But yeah, it's interesting, and it's such a weird, like, it's a different thing for me. I was one of those refugees who came to Twitch with COVID. I had, I was kind of like lost at sea, and it's such a different vibe to play online, but I love it. Yeah, we got a giant raid from Jordan Lane.
Yeah.
We'll break the 4th wall. Why not?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jordan. Jordan's another streamer. We're going to have her on the podcast soon enough anyway. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. Jordan. Yeah. So, Meg, I have to ask you, you are a Twitch ambassador. You have been on the platform since 2017. What do you think has been the biggest thing you've learned as a Twitch musician?
Oh, my biggest piece of advice is it's a marathon, not a sprint. Streaming, especially, it's funny that we were just talking about 7-hour streams. It's so easy to do that when you first start streaming, especially when you the first couple times that you get really big raids and you start to have a regular audience that's coming in, and maybe your numbers are a little bit bigger. You get on a streak where you're getting a lot of raids during all of your streams, and it's really easy to give in to that hype and stream for 5 hours. And that's not sustainable.
Yeah. I found that out too.
I had a vocal coach after streaming for 2.5 years, 3 years. I went back to my vocal coach that I was seeing before I started streaming, because I had to stop going to her when I moved to California. I moved back to Minnesota after a few months also, because I was like, I'm not making any money acting and Twitch is way better.
Yeah,
so
right on.
I moved back to Minnesota, and I went, after a couple years of streaming, I went back to my vocal coach and I was explaining to her, singing on, or I was explaining Twitch and how I stream on Twitch and I sing. She was asking me oh yeah, how long do you sing? I was like, oh, I don't know, 4 hours at a minimum. She was like, you do that 5 days a week? That's the same amount as somebody that's on Broadway, and somebody that's on Broadway isn't talking in between them singing for 4 hours 5 days a week.
They're silent.
They're on vocal rest. Yeah, you have to make content and then also talk and be entertaining that whole. What the heck are you doing?
Yeah,
and that slowly set in the reality of oh, okay, yeah, if I want to sustain being a vocalist and a musician on the internet, or especially on Twitch, I can't continue to do these things. I have to not belt every single stream, and I have to lower the key, and I have to put restrictions in of of time, how much time I can stream, or create actual boundaries so that you don't burn out, because burnout is kind of it's a poison for streaming. You can, another good piece of advice is it's you can make up skipping 1 day of stream. It's harder to make up skipping a few weeks of stream because you burnt out. Like, you're better off if you go up to your computer and you're like, I just can't do it. Like, I'm just so tired today. I'm burnt out. My brain is dead. I just don't want to click the stream button, like, as much as it's like, yeah, I need to make money, or yeah, I want to see, the viewers in chat, or yeah, it's my job and I need to have clips so I can post other places. It's like, you're not going to be able to do any of those things if you force yourself to do it over and over and over again, and then you don't stream for a month. Like,
no, it's very brilliant.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. Now, what about, because I have only been on Twitch for a couple of years, but I'm trying to diversify now. Like, I sat on over here behind me playing music for so long, and now I'm trying to do a podcast and stuff like that. How do you run your channel, and what is your goal? How has it changed as you've gone along your journey?
So I mean, recently I think the biggest change, especially since like COVID and how many more musicians have gotten in, or just in general, like the biggest change with Twitch is kind of having to diversify your content. Like, you really have to lean into being a content creator and creating, like, you have to highlight bits of your stream. Like, your stream, the way I think about it is like, stream is the upper umbrella. It's like a backwards pyramid.
Right.
And stream is like the top bit, and you kind of just have to funnel down like all of this stuff, and you just have to kind of post it. And it's funny because I still don't even know what I'm doing. You kind of just have to do it. I think nobody really knows what they're doing, and you just kind of have to keep going.
Well, I would consider it this way. If you're going to watch a full sports game, whether you watch soccer or football or basketball or hockey, you watch the whole game, it's 3 hours long, or you can watch the highlight reel on TSN or wherever, or you can just watch a couple clips on Twitter or wherever that you see of the game, like the biggest highlight true. So I feel like it's the exact same as any TV production. They're doing the same thing. They have the large content that you can tune into, and then you kind of funnel it down to these smaller and smaller ones. That's awesome. So do you work on, what are the other platforms that you sort of funnel your content to? All of them?
Yeah, I try to.
Okay.
My main ones, like, I try to limit it. I don't know. I feel like my brain, I've learned, is that there's as much as I really want to be able to post on every single platform and be able to do that. It's like, when you think about a TV production has an entire crew that uploads to every single platform.
Yeah.
So I try to limit my brain power for my sanity to some extent. And also my ADHD likes to kind of pick and choose what things that I do. And then I kind of just try to stay in a rhythm and figure it out. So right now, I try to, I've been focusing a lot on TikTok and Instagram Reels. And so that's kind of my bare minimum that I try to do, is take a clip after every stream. I have a clip button on my Stream Deck. And if I do something in a song and I'm like, oh, that's really good, I hit that note, I'll click the clip button. And then after stream, while I'm sitting in bed and decompressing, I'll go through my clips and I'll pick a clip out, and then I'll edit it for TikTok and Instagram.
How do you get it to go vertical? Is there a secret trick for you?
I learned, so if you make a clip on mobile, you can copy the link and paste it in browser, and don't let it jump to the Twitch app. Just keep it in browser, and if you click the little 3 dots on the corner of the clip, it gives you the option to download it.
Okay.
And that's been, I used to use, there's a website called clipper.xyz, and it's clipr.xyz. And that one you can also copy and paste the link, and then it'll give you a download for it. And then I've been using for the longest time, InShot is an app that I use.
Okay.
And I like them because they always have the option to watch an ad to remove their watermark. And to use a lot of their pro tools and things like that that's within the app.
Okay.
Otherwise, even simpler than that, I always take my clip and go into Instagram first. And Instagram itself, you can click there's a little arrow that goes both
rotate?
directions.
Yeah.
And if you click that, it'll auto make it vertical, and you can kind of move it around.
Okay.
And then before I put captions on, in Instagram, I download that clip with like before I post it or anything. And then I kind of use that as like my cropped version.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very curious because I do it. I've done it before, but I've had troubles with it. I've basically used iMovie to edit something, and then I've rotated it with QuickTime after something, and then it crops it down to the. Anyways, I was just curious how you did that, but awesome. Yeah. What sparks your creativity, Meg? I'm
a very firm believer in kind of taking I take inspiration from everything, or I try to.
Okay.
And I try not to force creativity. Like I tried a very long time ago when I was an early songwriter. I learned when I was trying to force myself to write songs that the ones I would force myself to do were never good.
Yeah.
Even if it was like the beginning part, which was like the kind of just natural songwritery trance, sort of thing that you write in whichever way, like that would be good. And then as soon as it would get to the point where I was forcing myself to write it, it would not be good anymore.
Right.
And I wouldn't like the song.
I agree. I totally agree with that. It's like the first natural part that comes out seems to flow, and then you're like second verse time, and it's like bummer.
Yeah, so I kind of like I typically, like with songwriting especially, that's something that I just kind of always, I leave it up to, I always have a guitar in my bedroom or somewhere around me so I can doodle. And there's actually a TikTok that I saw from John Mayer. That was actually really good, and it was an interview. I think the guy's name is Andrew. I think it was like a Spotify interview or something like that. And John Mayer was talking about how he's like, you can always pick up a guitar and doodle, but it takes like a lot of bravery to be able to like sing over it. And then he started to like freestyle a song over it. And that's exactly my writing style. Yeah. Is I like pick up a guitar and I start to play stuff, or I'm like walking around my house or driving or doing something else and I start to hum a melody, or I think like a lyric will pop into my head or something along those lines, and it'll kind of spark that like, oh, this could be an idea, like that's kind of cool. And I just kind of try to build it from there.
Gives you something to commit to, sort of thing.
Yeah, like I try to just like, if it's something that, if I'm playing guitar, I've kind of written songs in various different ways. But like if I'm playing guitar and writing it, and I start to come up with a riff, or I start to come up with a melody or something like that, I'll kind of just sing through it, and I'll keep singing through it. And then once I bring out like my lyric book and start writing, then that kind of starts to really solidify like the lyrical part of my brain of being like, okay, I can see the structure of how this could like play out. And so then I kind of build off of that. And then like if it's, for instance, Allison, I wrote that song kind of in the shower, and it was specifically because I was just thinking about exes in my head, and I was like, oh, I've had two different exes named Allison, and they were both Sagittariuses. That'd be a fun song.
That's crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
And my brain just like immediately kind of hummed, Allison was Sagittarius, broke my heart in the winter, and I was like, oh, that's fucking dope.
Nice.
And I like wrote it down in my notes, and I start, it was kind of just like this. I don't even know if I had the melody or not, or if I had just kind of written down this, sort of like, words to me, it's almost like how when you break down, like when somebody raps, especially if someone's like really good at freestyling or really good at rapping, like there's more just a rhythmic way of placing words. Like if you ever hear Eminem like talk about rhymes and things like that, he talks about how you can rhyme anything with anything. It just matters the way that you can break apart the word.
Vowels, yeah.
Yeah, and
orange, mortgage, he says.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. And so that's kind of the way that my brain will, if I come up with lyrics, my brain will just kind of come with like a rhythmic way of thinking of a lyric, and I'll like kind of write something out on notes or dawdle it, and then I start to try to put something with guitar. And it's a very just kind of fluid.
Do you put pen to paper for that part?
What'd you say?
Do you put actual pen to paper for that part, or do you type it?
I like to, if it's like if I'm somewhere where I don't have like my lyric book, I'll write it in my notes, or I'll hum it like in voice, or if I'm sitting on my bed and I don't have somewhere, then I'll maybe like record a video of it or something like that. But if I have a book with a pencil, I will write it.
Right.
I really like the Blackwing notebooks and pencils.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I'm left-handed, so any book is annoying to me. I actually use printer paper with no lines. That's what I need.
Oh, interesting.
I need, because if there's a binding in the middle of the book, my hand is all messed up by it. Even if it's like a flat binding, it's like a cliff, so your hand falls off the side. It's hard to explain to anyone who's not left-handed, but using a book is a nightmare. So I use just clean white printer paper because I don't like lines either, because I need to like put notes and arrows and weird things around sometimes, and 2 words over one, and leave spaces. So it's almost like this weird brainstorm sheet. I mean, it's got some structure, but
I feel you. I like notebooks. I understand the no lines thing, because my favorite like lyric book that I've had was a notebook lyric book thing that had 0 lines in it. I was like, oh, I can like sketch things and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can doodle.
Nice. But it's almost like you need like the vertical like notebook.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. But it doesn't matter, because regardless, I can't get so you're to the edge of the left of the page and you can get your pen to the edge. But for me too, my hand is on the table. And the book is a ½ inch higher than the table, so it's so hard to do that. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's super. I just hate it, because I'm a stiffler, and I actually have very nice for a man. First off, with these big old dumb claws here, I actually have pretty good penmanship. So like when it's messy, I'm like literally crumpling the page and it's terrible. But I was just curious if you use pen to paper, because I know it's becoming a little bit of a lost art. A lot of people. I type some things. I'm not gonna lie and say
I'd lose it. In my ADHD mess of files, it would just be gone.
Right. Yeah, it has to be named correct for sure.
Yeah, there's something about like the organic feel. It also makes me feel like a songwriter. Like I'm writing like I got
ink on my fingers. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta actually write it.
Yeah. We're not song typers.
No. I can't type fast enough. My brain also, like, if I have a pencil and a paper, I can play guitar and then take my hand away.
Right. That's exactly it. Yeah, I know. I'm on the same page. I think we're vibing on that. Now, you sent me a video to a new song you have. It's either out or coming out, depending on when you see this video. But can you explain how this one came to you? And were you in the shower singing about exes for this one, or how did this go?
The song came out last Friday, May 6th. 2 Fridays ago. Came out May 6th. I wrote this song. This was kind of one of those, like when I get in writer's blocks, sometimes the thing that'll get me out of it is like no, I'm a songwriter, I can do it. I can so every once in a while I can push through that, like, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Right.
And so this is kind of one of those songs, and it was one of the first ones that I built, like using a loop station. I had the guitar riff, like the main guitar riff that I was doing, and it was kind of really fun to do the like muted. I was really kind of playing with. I think I was listening to a lot of John Mayer, and he does that like muted slappy thing a lot. And so I could kind of like just morphed that into a lot of guitar playing that I was doing. And so I had played with that riff, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And I built it like through my loop station. And it was just kind of, it's just like, all right, I'm going to go for it. It's whatever I was feeling. Just one of those that just kind of came out, word vomit.
Okay, well, I am going to mute myself, and I'm going to hit the old stinger button here. It's going to take us to Megan Lenius's latest single here. And what's the title of this one?
Against You. Against You,
which we are not against you, but the song is, just expressing some emotions that were felt, all right?
Exactly, yeah. Against you in quotes.
So enjoy the performance, and we'll be right back with you guys after this video's over.
Thinking about you. And I run circles around the things you do. And I second guess everything I say, 'cause I don't wanna ruin everything. Oh no. You're so perfect and I'm just working against you. I'll hold you to it if you wanna see this through. You're so perfect and I'm just working against you. I'll make up a fight to prove I'm right when I say I'm not good enough. And I'll get high to forget about your gray eyes when you say that you've had enough. You're so perfect and I'm just working against you. I'll hold you to it if you wanna see this through. No, but you're so perfect and I'm just working against you. No, 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 no. Just working against you. I spent the first one convincing you that I won't leave. You know that's true, yet here I am telling you I don't deserve you. You're so perfect and I'm just working against you. I'll hold you to it if you wanna see this through. No, but you're so perfect and I'm just working against you. No, no, no. I'll hold you to it if you wanna see this through. No, but you're so perfect and I'm just working against you. No, just working against you. You're so perfect and I'm just working against you.
Meg, you did that all on the looper?
That song was produced. I mean, like the song was built on the looper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I was like, "Whoa, that is some sick." But it's that, dude. The vocals are crisp. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. That was produced by there's a Twitch streamer Luke Diamond, Dimond, and it had Dan Drumstone playing drums on it.
Oh yeah, I know Dan. Yeah, great. Wow, it sounded great. Well done. And so, do you use different producers each time you record music, or are you using the same producer each time, or how's that go for you?
Yeah, I've been using different ones. I had the same producer on Used and I Can't. I Can't was mixed by a different person and mastered by two different people, though.
Okay.
And then Allison was a different producer. Hit of You was produced by Wax Wayne. Not Your Game was Mike Shinoda.
Right.
And then this last one was Luke Diamond.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So do you just like sort of let go and give creative freedom to producers, or do you go with a little bit of a, firm framework for what you'd like?
It's a little bit of both. I have I trust the way I think about it is like when I go to a producer with a song is like I'm giving you the like a painting without it being polished. Like it's a painting without all the shading in it.
Yeah.
And like I want you to like make it sound good enough to be on the radio, because there's a certain part of me that when I start to produce my own things, like I'm not trained as a producer, so there's like I don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
And also like even when it's something that's like low, like it doesn't really depend on me being a producer, there's a lot of like I want to try harder when it's my track. I really do not know when to be like, this is enough. And so I would sit on a song for just way too long if I'm like, yeah, I want to make this like more in depth. And the longer that I tried to do that and the longer that I kind of like fought myself and I would get upset that I wasn't finishing things or I was taking too long to do it, the more that I realized like I could just hire somebody to work with that I really like that's going to do this 3 times as fast as me and make it so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just always ask everybody because I know it's hard to it's hard to get the message across to somebody else on exactly what you wanted. And you do sort of have to give up some sort of freedom there.
Yeah, I like to pick out people that are that I like the music like that they make personally. Like I already know that I try to pick producers that'll fit my songs. Like I'll listen to their things and be like, oh yeah, this producer kind of does really good at this thing, so I'm going to have you produce this thing. And I've also made the mistake of not telling them when I don't like something.
Right.
So I'm also very like I just kind of bite the bullet now. I'm just like, okay, I have to swallow the Minnesota Nice, and I'm just going to tell them that we need to change this thing because it's my song and I'm hiring you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, totally. And you know what you want out of that song. Mm-hmm. What was in your parents' record collection?
Oh, a lot of Earth, Wind, and Fire, Aretha. My mom loved Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. And let's see.
Well, I can hear it now. I just wanted to know because it
Janis Joplin. Oh yeah, Janis Joplin is a huge one. She's my all-time favorite artist now.
Yeah, it's just if you ask that question, you immediately can hear it in their music. You're like, oh yeah, that's why it sounds like that. Okay, cool. It's immediate every time. Yeah. So, what do you consider success?
I don't know. I think success can be a lot of different things. I think that there's that's a tough question because it really is. Success, I think, changes. And I also feel like if I really want to get like philosophical, like success is probably realizing that it's just like an arbitrary thing that we're going for. We just really want to be happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, another question of mine is what makes you happy. So that's funny that you say that, but that is true. Yeah. You have to challenge yourself. You need to have somewhere to go. That's why music is so beautiful, is because there's no end to it. You'll never make the perfect song. There's always something else to discover. There's always something else to learn. So I know that's why I play music, and I know that's why I enjoy watching and listening to other artists and stuff like that. So what does make you happy?
Music. I think a lot of things. I like, I like playing music. I like making music. I like making stuff. I'm a very tactile person. Like if I talk about like hobbies that I like
3D
after
printing.
stuff, like we talked about 3D printing.
Yeah.
Like I'm a craft person. I like making things. Like if I can look at something and be like, I can make that for cheaper out of stuff that's already in my house, I'll do it. Awesome. And I'll figure out how to, and it'll work.
I like that. I'm very, you and I are so alike. Like I just can see myself within what you tell me. I'm like, oh yeah, me too. The completing of something, whether this goes for the success thing, like just getting to whatever that plateau is great. It's a great feeling. You're like, oh wow, I did that thing. And then you're like, what's next? Because life goes on. And so it is just a fleeting thing. I always ask, but what's the final boss for you? What is the final boss of success or happiness for you? Where do you want to land in your life to be at the final, you beat the final boss?
I mean, my overall goal for my whole life has been I'm going to win a Grammy.
Okay.
That's my manifestation. I'm going to win a Grammy. And I think that I've always had I think the Grammy Awards were something that, like, as a kid, I was like, oh, I could do a way better speech than any of these people. I'm going to win a Grammy. Like, not just that, but, like, there was something idolizing about it. That's like, this is, like, a moment where people, like, it's that same sort of thing of, like, this is where people, like, pay attention to you and, like, pay attention to what you're saying, you know?
Yeah. And and also it's picked by the peers. So it is all of the other people in the Academy of Music, Recording Academy, who decide, like, you, my friend, my peer, I am also Lizzo, and I decided that I voted for your record. That's what's cool to me, is it's not fan voted, it's not sales voted, it's not Billboard, which is sales again, or plays on the radio. It's just who of your peers considers your art to be good.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the only awards that I would care to ever win. I don't want a Billboard. I don't want it. I mean, yeah, of course I would take it. I'm not, I would definitely take it. But I'm just saying it's not the same prestige to me, because one of my friends wrote a lyric once, and the lyric is very simple. It's just, do it for the art, not for the award.
Yeah.
And he did it like Eminem. So he made it rhyme somehow. Do it for the art, not for the award. So it sounded like art. It was great, and I will never forget that lyric. And
amazing.
One of my goals was to win a Grammy in my life. And once I heard that lyric, I was like, you know what? I think if I just make art, then the Grammy will come. And that sort of goes for the podcast and the stream and everything that we do as creators, is just do our best, make our best piece of art, put our best piece of our heart into it, and all of that other nonsense will figure itself out and it will come to us. Yeah. If you could go on tour with one artist dead and one alive, who would they be?
Janis Joplin and Hayley Williams from Paramore.
So fast. I love it. You know what you want and you got it.
Yeah.
So are you opening, or are they opening for you?
I don't care. I'll take either.
Okay. And what's the last venue of the tour that you guys are going to play at?
Ooh. I mean, like, if this is my, like, a Madison Square Garden, I'd say. That's got to be, like, if this is, like, a dream tour, Madison
it is.
Square
Totally.
Garden. You got to end off big.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Hayley Williams, Janis Joplin, and Megan Lenius, that's going to end in Madison Square Garden.
I totally agree with you. That's amazing. Okay, I would like to ask you to pick a number between 1 and 5, please.
Oh, 5? You can't give me to 10? 8's my favorite number.
Okay, fine. I'll give you to 10. Let me pull out more. Sorry, I have to count 10, not 5 now. It's just more work on my end. That's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I'm going to go 8.
Yeah.
So I need to know, am I going from the left or the right now?
Right.
So I'm going from the right, backwards from a book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Today, your fortune from a fortune cookie that I ate at one point in my life is get ready for a daring adventure.
Dope.
I don't know. Do you have anything coming up on, like, the long weekend or something? Are you going on camping or anything crazy?
Don't think so. But life's an adventure, so I'll take it. It's ominous.
Yeah, it is. I'm just curious. I always try to figure out, like, do you have, like, a Twitch engagement coming up, or, like, TwitchCon or anything to go to?
I do hope to go to TwitchCon in San Diego. I found an Airbnb for very cheap, so.
Nice. Right on. Okay, well, I think that's about it for us, because I usually try to keep these to just about an hour, and I know this is your day off, and now I've made you work on your day off. Is anyone out there paying overtime for this? Come on now. I appreciate you very much doing this, Megan, and I hope to become much closer friends. If you're ever in Toronto, I would love to play a show with you. I have venues here and stuff that I could help you out with. And
I'm so down. I've always wanted to go to Canada. It's so close to Minnesota too.
Yeah, the Minnesota Nice is basically just us leeching over into the you're Canada
really
South.
is.
You're like Canada Florida. But yeah, anytime you happen to make it across the border, please be sure to let me know. And everyone who's watching on Twitch, you guys know where to find Megan. Of course you do. Anyone who's watching this on YouTube later, all of Megan's links are below in the description. You can get to her YouTube page, you can get to her Twitch page, and all the links that she happens to provide there. Merch, all the rest of it, Spotify, new singles, all the rest of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
definitely.
awesome.
They make it easy too. It's all just under Megan Lenius. So
awesome. That's your website, right?
yeah, website, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Right. I'm never on Facebook. Please don't follow my Facebook.
Yeah. Dumpster fire. Okay, well, listen, I'm going to let you have the rest of your day because you earned it. And thank you so much again for your time. And we'll stay in touch. And I also do need to learn a little bit more about the MIDI routing on the head rush from you.
I'll tell you all about it. You hit me up. I got you.
We got to sort that out. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for a great interview. So and I will talk to you very soon. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now. And another one in the books, everyone. How you like me now? Let's fix this camera. Oh, wasn't that great? Hey, yeah. If you guys didn't know who Megan Lenius was, she is a Twitch ambassador. She is a phenomenal musician. She also uses the Head Rush looper board, and we've been talking about it for a long time. I think we met through like Head Rush's Instagram. All of her links are right here, guys. If you're in the chat right now. Thank you guys for hanging out. We got a gigantic raid from Miss Jordan Lane. If you're a Twitch user, you already know who Jordan Lane is as well. If you're on YouTube, go check out Jordan Lane on Twitch. She brought over a huge crew of people. I need some water. And we do this every Monday with a different artist. The next couple weeks coming up, we have 2 more female guests. Thank God. Finally, I'm starting to get a bunch more female guests. But if you want to check us out on Mondays at Kev from the Bunker on Twitch, all of the socials are popping up right there below me. And if you're watching this on YouTube afterwards, please hit the like and subscribe button. I am getting so close. If anybody in chat here would like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I think I only need about 80 more people to get to that 1,000 mark of subscribers on YouTube. So go hit that button for me. It'd be super helpful. It's a free way to support the channel. Everything for my merch, for all of the affiliate links that I have for Musora are all below in the description on the YouTube video. So if you're looking to learn how to sing, how to play guitar, piano, or drums, all the links below will give you a free trial, and they kick me a little something back. So check that out, and that's an easy way to support. There's a Patreon for my YouTube. There's a Patreon, $3 a month just to help support the YouTube channel for all the content that I make on there. We have live musicians coming to perform here at the Bunker as well. It's called Live from the Bunker, so you'll see those videos on my YouTube as well. Thank you everyone in Twitch for being here today. I'm going to hit it to the end screen here, and we're going to go raid somebody right now. We'll go find another musician on Twitch to raid. So thank you very much. Until next time, I want to keep you guys between the mustard and the mayonnaise. Okay, thank you.